Good morning, traders. So let's have a look at the Aussie to start the morning off. And this level that we are here, which is essentially the bottom of this range here, and you can see how it was used as a swing high here, it's been used as support, So that to me is a pretty crucial level at this stage. There's nothing really else that we have here. We do have this continuation diversions in play. Okay, so make these rising and prices falling. So we definitely do have that at play. Now, what I want to just point out is this. So we had 1, 2, 3 touches. So that was a pretty well-defined downward trend line. We broke it, we've come up, and we come to retest. So that is still my current bias, is that we are busy testing this downward trend line. Okay, is that the retest? Maybe not. You know, it could be a little bit more of a fall in place, and the fall will be this inside bar followed by that tail there. So this inside tail, then this tail. So those are the levels that I'm kind of concerned about, and you can see how it's quite a big zone of support, and that would kind of give me a better indication here. Okay, now the bigger move, let's get a Fibonacci on this, from there to the top. So this was an aggressive move. Okay, it was a pretty strong move to the upside, and you would expect some kind of a pullback, and by the looks of things we are pulling back at the moment. And what I'm looking for is the 50 and the 61.8. So I'll just block that out, and let's just move, oh, not that. Just move the rectangle over a bit, so you can see. Okay, so that's kind of the area that we are looking for. So, you know, what could happen is we could just run down this trend line until we get here, and then we move to the upside. Okay, so that is a possibility, but I want to just delete the Fibonacci. Right, the other level that we need to worry about, and I think that's pretty clear, is this previous swing low here. You can see it was used there, and it was used there. Okay, so those are the two levels that there's 3 to the bottom and 1 to the upside, but that's the area that we need to be concerned of. Let's just get down to the 4-hour. Now, what does that tell you? That tells you that this is a range. Okay, so we are ranging at this stage. Now, we've had a downward move, and we are now consolidating. Now, we are either going to consolidate and break back up, or we're going to consolidate and break down. I mean, that's the nature of the beast. If we break to the downside, what we're looking for is the following. Let's take it from, so I'm moving from there to the low, and then to the previous swing high, which will give me an indication of right on the 50% Fibonacci would be the target. 161 extension would be on the 61.8 of the Fibonacci. So a break to the downside does target the bigger retracement. Okay, now we have, okay, so we do have a swing high, a lower high, and we are pretty much, call it a double top. It's ever so slight to the upside, but that is diversions, and that's continuation diversions to the downside. So this thing is setting up for a move to the downside. Now, Yesterday we spoke about the falling wedge, okay, and I'm going to show you something what I often see with these the wedge patterns. Okay, so you have a pretty well defined wedge which is glaringly obvious, and then you think, well, I'll trade the break of this, and off it goes. But basically, what often happens is the following: it always turns into a channel. Okay, so I can't tell you how many times I see this happen, especially on the Aussie. You know, it happens so often, in fact, that I typically ignore wedges. I'll use them as an entry point, but I very rarely actually look to play out the target of the wedge, because more often than not, it turns out to be a channel somewhere along the line before moving back to the downside and continuing on its journey. So take your pick. You know, was that a wedge break, or is it now a bigger channel? Okay, so let's just get rid of that. I want to keep the channel line in. You can see where we are in relation to the alligator. We are below the alligator. We have turned off the red line here. Okay, so that is an indication that there is still more downside to come. Okay, and we've got a lot of indecision bars. So we had one on Friday, and we've got another one yesterday. So there's very much there's no real defined direction at this stage, but I think my bias is starting to turn very much to the downside, that we start targeting this zone here, the 49,000 area. Okay, so two things at play here. So we do have a potential head and shoulders forming here. So we've got the shoulder there, we've got the head forming. I would like to see it come down to this level, then bounce up and form the right shoulder. So that's the one element that's at play. And then we also got an inverse head and shoulders. So you've got inverse shoulder there, inverse head, and we have the inverse shoulder forming. So you've got two potential patterns brewing. You're in a downward channel and you're in a horizontal channel. Sorry, horizontal range. So lots of indecision, no real direction. And I think for me, I will still take the longs at the bottom here, but anything that goes up, if we do form another lower low, in other words, we take the long to the top of the channel here and start turning, then I think we need to start looking at playing this thing short and playing it short to the bottom here, because this support is going to break. Okay, so obviously, and you can see how this has been playing out for a long time, is that every major area of support gets tagged, and profit taking and the buyers step in if you're short. So your shorts are still scalps, and are still scalps to these levels. So what we may find is moves to the downside, and we don't even tag this area, but we find support on this bottom level here. But I just want to see if we have any Brooks gaps here on the hour. There is one very small one here. Okay, for those of you who don't know what the Brooks gap is, it's pretty much where, for example, this is a Brooks gap here. So you see we've got a swing high there, and then we broke out. We didn't come back to test this break, but we did over here. Okay, I'll just put a little line in there. So there's a Brooks gap there. So that's a tail to the upside. We broke through it, and this was it was a range. So it was a breakout. Went higher than that tail. It was a breakout. Came back to test the breakout over there. Okay, price always comes back to test the Brooks gaps. So there's nothing really else that we have here. See, this Brooks gap here was tested over there. There's nothing really else happening here. So yes, I think for me, I'm very much confused as to which way we're going to go. And I think what I will do is just wait for the open and see what happens. Now, it's going to be difficult going short at the bottom here. It really is going to be difficult going short. You want to try to be short higher up if you are going to go short. For me, especially on the Aussie, to play a break short, your stops are just too big. I mean, if you decide to play short over here, you've got a 700-point stop loss. I mean, it's just way too big. So I think for me this morning is really going to be see what price action does. We will more than likely bounce from sort of the weekly levels. Let's just get rid of that level. I just want to fine tune it. So the level itself is still important, but I want to fine tune it down to the hour. So there is a level and there is a level. So you're going to find some kind of a bounce here. The big question is whether it's a big move up or a small move up. So it'll be worthwhile getting in at this level. You can keep a tight stop and bouncing up to see if this trend line holds. If this trend line holds, then so be it. Then we're looking for shorts, and at least you're in a better position for a short. You can have a closer stop. And let's just work that out. So along from this area back here, it's going to be 300 points. Okay. So that's kind of the way that I'm going to play this. We'll wait to see what happens here. If we do start getting something on the 15 minutes, then we'll take that trade. But yeah, you can see we're very much sideways the whole of yesterday. So we'll take this trade. What we could do as well, we could bounce up. And if we do bounce up and fail to break these two levels here, it'll be worthwhile position to get in short and play the short down first to this level. And you can see now by fine tuning, I can delete that line already because that's the level there we need to worry about. So then you can play the short back down to these levels here. So yeah, so that's me. Sorry guys, it's a little bit not really clear in the direction, but we're going to have to play this out. Sorry, one other thing here that I see is we do have a triangle forming. Okay, and we are pretty much in the middle of the triangle. So, and often these triangles there's no way to determine which way it's going to break. So we've got to wait for the break to figure out which way it goes. And with the Aussie, this thing is notorious for giving you a fake out, then going the other way. So I would just take it with a pinch of salt and use the channel for now. Okay, I'll leave that in. So use the channel for now. If we do break the upside and we bounce, and you can get your stop to entry and then move to the downside, then you're going to want to take profit either here or here. And you can see there's an intersecting trend line here. So you want to take profit somewhere in this area before moving back to the upside. Okay. And the other thing is on this range, if we define that as a range and a range, you can see how price is moving to the downside down and moving to the upside here. So there's really no clear direction whether this is a consolidation for continuation or consolidation before a bounce to the upside. We're going to have to watch what happens. So longs from the bottom, shorts from the top, but pay attention to this triangle at this stage, and we'll have to wait to see what the open says for us. But anyway, I hope it helps, and I'll catch you guys later.